Hello, Inno64 and Ford fans. I actually reviewed this casting before in a different livery, but I got this on sale, so I figured I'd try it out. It does say European Touring Car Champion in 1987, but I have a lot of conflicting writings on the internet. Some people are saying that as far as drivers' championships goes, this Klaus Ludwig came in second. And then Wikipedia doesn't even say manufacturer's championship. They have something called the entrance championship. And then this did come in first place there. Then Speed Hunters said it just came in a champion for drivers. So everything's conflicting itself. So I don't really know. I'm just going to assume this is the champion. If it's not, it's the BMW M3. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, license stuff here. Inno64 is licensed. This is a little back card for tension. What's this thing? Some sort of QR code. No, for Ford. Okay. Then we have this pretty tight lid. Comes loose, of course. It's got a really delicate antenna, so I'm not going to take this off the base. Yeah, you can see the antenna in the photo there. So you can see it's nice that they print what the car is supposed to be, who the drivers were, yeah, what the car is. It's got some mesh wheels. Oop, sorry. These pictures are from Speed Hunters. Yeah, taillights match up pretty well. And I just threw an interior shot up there because I am going to use a flashlight to look inside that thing. Let's see, where's my pick? So even though this is supposedly a champion, no one wants to buy this casting because I guess maybe it's just not appealing to look at. I don't know. I think it's okay looking. It's kind of hard to see details on a black car though. But when you look at this front wheel here, if I could focus, it's pretty nicely done. I think that might be a photo etched piece of metal there. You know, they got such thin spokes. And then the wheel is a separate piece. So it looks like the center nut is there as well. But this one I guess is not painted well, that black dot. And then as usual I complain with Inno because it uses decals. You see this? This is an air pocket. That's where the door crease is. And that's going to probably crack later on in the future. It's not going to look pretty. Let's see. The sponsorship there all looks pretty good. Here's driver's names. Door handle looks okay. I think that's just smooth. Yeah, but that little dot is probably supposed to be the lock. And then it's got separate mirrors, so little bullet-like mirrors, and then the molding there is sticking up, painted black, or maybe that's part of the die-cast, what I'm touching there. I'm not sure, because it's black, it's hard to tell. It's just a graphic for the fuel filler, it seems. Okay, go to the back this time around. Nice separation of the colors in the taillights, orange. You can also see a light bulb back behind this thing, so that's pretty nice. No license plate, of course, and that's the way the rear photograph looks. No exhaust pipe in the back, or there shouldn't be. What am I touching there? I'm not sure. It looks like, oh, it's a black tow hook. Boy, I should not be careful of that. Careful. You got the double-decker wings, and I think they're plastic. The bottom is plastic. This top one probably is too. It's got Texaco printed on there. Now this Texaco up here is a Tampo print. There's none of that wrinkliness between the letters or the letters themselves, so that's nice. The antenna actually has a little base on it, so that's cool. This might be a Tampo also. I don't know, but it's on the windshield. It looks pretty good. There's one central wiper blade here because it's a race car. Some vent details molded in, painted black. And then, yeah, we're back to a decal. See that orange peel effect? So not cool, but over here it's like perfectly smooth because that's paint. So I'm not a fan of decals. They don't look good and they're gonna get worse. This Ford badge. Focus, come on. It's so shiny. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Sorry. I don't think my camera can focus on it. It's too small. But it's there. It's like a foil sticker or something like that. And then there's a texture here in the grill. And then the headlight covers are actually clear lenses. But they just have a graphic printed on them because that's what the race car did. It's probably just, I wonder if it's just tape that they put on the race car. I'm not sure. Maybe these races were only during the day, so they just taped them up to keep them from shattering in an accident. But look, you can see the light bulbs back there, so that's pretty cool. It's very three-dimensional. Yeah, the graphics here. Yeah, it's a decal, but it is there. We got orange turn signal action there, and this just looks black. But that's what the photograph looks like, so okay. Then we have a vent here, and the vents here, they're just smooth. I think there's just air there. There's no grill like up in here. Then we have a red tow hook in the front, so that's a nice little detail, an extra piece. Alright, this side of the car, we have the exhaust system coming out of this underneath the door. Yeah, that's gonna be the lock. And then this is a fuel filler, I think, also. Looking at the photographs, it's got one of these on each side, but this one looks different. No, it does look the same, I bet. I have a short-term memory. The wheels look great again. And keep moving the camera. Sorry, it's so low to the table. Alright, well, that's it for the outside. Looking through the rear glass, you can see tiny defroster lines. Okay, although I can't see them in the photos. And then I can see a seatbelt harness system and a fire extinguisher can behind that seat. Yeah, the seatbelts look great. It's a decal, but inside I don't really care because I'll never touch them. But they look good. Let's see what else we can see through here. Trying to get into the instrument pinnacle. It does look like there's a graphic there in the... Let me get the flashlight. Yeah, some sort of wacky... maybe it's... They blanked off the original dashboard and then put in like a racing computer. Perhaps that might be why it looks all mostly red. Alright, on the side of that we have, what, HVAC controls maybe? The steering wheel definitely looks like a race steering wheel. There's no airbag at all. Yeah, lap belts there. There's a roll cage and that fire extinguisher tank. The roll cage here is crossing over in the back. And yeah, I guess there's not much else. Is there anything on the floor of the passenger side? Not really. It's just a gutted interior. I was thinking that might be like a computer box or something like that. Telemetry system or something. No, but I think they just gutted the interior out to lose weight. So it's actually a pretty realistic looking interior. And if your memory, like my memory, is worthless, look, that actually looks kind of like what we were just looking at. A big red flattened off thing, and those two shapes are in there. They don't have the red on this side though, but that's a lot of extra work. I don't know if that fire extinguisher is moved later on, but it's just a gutted floor pan. Alright, let's take a look at a few other Innos. So here's the street version. And I think I may have repainted this interior gray. I don't know if it came, no, as decals, so I guess that's just the way it came, which is great. Here's the other racing version I have. It's the Macau GP, and it's, I guess, the Watson's livery. I think Watson's is like a drugstore or something. So the mirrors on that are just raw plastic, whereas these are actually painted glossy black. And I think I complained back on this one about the fuel filler being, or maybe it was on the road car, I complained that it wasn't molded in. But now I understand why. It's because the fuel filler on all three of these things are in different locations and a different graphic, it looks like, between these two race cars. So they can't make a physical casting, for all those different types of fuel filler locations. So that makes sense. Now I mention this all the time because if decals. So I reviewed this model and I tried to correct the air gaps because they're just so unsightly. I took a decal softener and waited a while and then tried to rub it in, but no, look, it cracked, and now it's a very ugly looking thing there on that car. It also cracked a little bit somewhere here, I think. So this is the problem with decals. They either have ugly air bubbles behind them, and if you try to mess with them, there's a good chance they're going to crack, or even if you don't mess with them, over time, the thin plastic is going to constantly shrink and expand at a different rate than the actual die-cast body, and henceforth it might crack on its own. Alright. So, if you're a fellow YouTube reviewer, please complain about the use of decals. There's no reason to do it when Greenlight, Auto World, Hot Wheels, Mini GT, brands all less expensive than Inno64 and Tarmac Works Hobbies. I don't know why those brands continue to use decals other than being a bunch of cheap people. Cheap brands. They could use tampo prints. Old brands like CM's, which are around $10 retail. Again, much less than the cost of an Inno64. They use tampo prints. So, this brand, I'm starting to not like them. As much as I like all the details and stuff that they put in here, I'm not going to keep these things for a while. And I just know they're going to all there's a good chance they're going to be ugly in the future. So please, leave a comment on other people's channels. Leave a comment on people that review Inno64s and Tarmac Works Hobby or Road 64, and say decals are not cool. And then hopefully with enough people complaining, maybe they'll go to tampo prints like all the other smart brands do. Alright, that's me complaining again. But I'm an old man, that's what we do. I didn't even talk about the car because Bryce spoke about the last time, but I'll just quickly say this is a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged, making between 470 and 540 horsepower depending on the source. It's rolling on 17-inch wheels, has a 5-speed transmission. So, pretty powerful car with that kind of power there. Alright, well, I guess I'll see you guys in the next review. Hopefully I won't have to complain about decals. Bye now.